Narrator script: he was a phantom, a whisper on the wind. The Wehrmacht knew him only as the snow ghost. For weeks, he had bled them white, a single Soviet sniper stalking the frozen hell of the Karelian front. His shots came from nowhere, each crack of his rifle a death sentence delivered with icy precision. He moved without sound, saw without being seen. He had become the landscape itself, the endless white, the silent pine forest, the cruel, biting cold. He had become the snow. It is February 1944. The location, a desolate, snow-choked sector north of Leningrad, near the village of Kistinki. Here, the 163rd German Infantry Division finds itself paralyzed not by a Red Army assault, but by the fear instilled by one man. Facing them, a master of his deadly craft, Senior Sergeant Mikhail Ilyich Volkov, 3rd Rifle Battalion, 45th Guards Rifle Division. To understand the terror he inspired, one must first understand the battlefield. This was the taiga, a dense primeval forest blanketed under meters of snow. Visibility was a luxury, movement a grueling ordeal. For the German infantrymen, every snowdrift could conceal a mine. But most of all, they feared the silent threat, the sniper. Mikhail Volkov was a hunter. From the remote villages of Karelia, he learned to track, to wait, to understand the language of the forest. These skills, once used to feed his family, were now weapons. Issued the Mosin-Nagant 1891 .30 sniper rifle, Volkov transformed the tool into an extension of himself. His tactics were psychological warfare. A single shot would kill a junior officer at dawn. Hours later, a second would take a sentry at the opposite end of the line. Then, silence. For a full day, nothing. The Germans would hunker down, nerves frayed, supply runs stalled, morale plummeted. By mid-February, Volkov's tally had grown to an estimated 37 confirmed kills. His fame within the Soviet ranks was a boost to morale. For the Germans, it was an obsession. The order came down: eliminate the Russian sniper, at any cost. The task fell to Hauptfreiter Karl Richter. He was an Ausbilder, a sniper instructor, methodical, patient, and arrogant. He arrived on February 18th, bringing with him the full confidence of the German High Command and a K98K rifle with a ZF-4 scope. For 3 days, Richter studied. He pored over maps. He interviewed shaken survivors. He began to triangulate Volkov's favored positions. He identified a particular sector, a rise the Soviets called Tichy Gnezdo, the bird's nest. On the morning of February 22nd, Richter made his move. Under the cover of a light snowfall, he set a trap. He ordered men to visibly repair a field telephone line. It was a provocation, and Volkov took it. At 10:47 hours, a shot rang out. A German soldier crumpled into the snow. The shot came from the bird's nest. Richter, peering through his binoculars, saw nothing. No muzzle flash, no disturbed snow, just the endless, mocking white. But Richter had a clue: the wind, a subtle, shifting breeze. To make that shot, the Soviet sniper would have had to account for a significant drift. Richter began to calculate. He started to mentally map not where the shot was fired from, but where, given these conditions, the perfect firing position would be. It was a duel of minds, fought across a battlefield of ice. For the next 48 hours, a deadly game of chess played out in the silence. Volkov, sensing a hunter, varied his routines, but the pressure to continue his work was immense. On February 24th, the crisis escalated. A Soviet probing attack was planned for dawn. Volkov's orders were explicit: before the attack, neutralize a German machine gun crew in a fortified bunker designated Wolf's Jaw. To sight it, he would have to occupy a forward, exposed position. He would be a stationary target. Dawn broke at 7:32 under a steel-gray sky, the temperature at -25 degrees Celsius. Volkov had been in position for 2 hours. He was not at the bird's nest, but in a new hide just 300 meters from the German line. He had crawled there in the dark, his white camouflage suit making him part of the snowdrifts. He was a part of the terrain, his eye welded to the scope. He saw the machine gun slot. He waited. The world shrunk to the circular view of his scope. He was the apex predator. He never saw Karl Richter. Richter had predicted Volkov's prediction. He reasoned the sniper would avoid his known positions. Using his analysis, Richter had chosen the most dangerous spot for Volkov, a shallow depression. For 36 hours, through the brutal cold, Richter had waited in his own hide 400 meters to Volkov's flank, and then he saw it. Not a man, but an anomaly, a straight line in a world of chaos. It was the faintest edge of Volkov's rifle barrel, a mistake measured in millimeters. Richter's finger tightened on the trigger. He exhaled slowly. This was the moment, the end of the snow ghost, At the exact instant Richter began his final squeeze, fate intervened. A kilometer away, a German artillery battery commenced a scheduled barrage. The first shell landed close enough. The thunderous detonation caused Richter to flinch. Microscopic, an involuntary spasm. His shot, meant for Volkov's head, flew high and wide, impacting the snow a meter to the sniper's left. In that split second, Mikhail Volkov's hunter instincts took over. He let go of his rifle and rolled sideways, just as Richter's second shot tore through the space where his chest had been. Volkov was now unarmed, lying exposed. To move was to die, to stay was to die. But Volkov remembered the land. A deadfall, a tangle of logs, just 5 meters to his right. With agonizing slowness, he began to crawl. He moved an inch, then another. He became a human glacier. Richter, scanning feverishly, saw only disturbed snow. It took 27 minutes to cover 5 meters. 27 minutes of heart-pounding terror. He finally slid behind the deadfall. He was alive, but defenseless. Then he saw it, a splintered branch, and wrapped around it a tattered piece of German tent canvas. A desperate plan formed. With numb fingers, Volkov secured the scrap of fabric to the branch. He lifted it just a few centimeters above a log. A tiny, incongruous patch of color in a field of white. From Richter's position, it was a tantalizing glimpse. Was it equipment? A hand? He shifted his aim, focusing entirely on that flicker of gray-green. And for one fatal second, he exposed himself. To get a better angle, Richter raised his head just a half-inch higher. The matte finish of his helmet broke the smooth contour of the snow. It was all Mikhail Volkov needed. He knew the position of his rifle, 2.5 meters away. As Richter focused on the decoy, Volkov erupted from behind the deadfall. He dove through the snow, his hand closing around the frozen stock of his Mosin-Nagant. In one continuous motion, he rolled, brought the rifle up, and fired. The 7.62 millimeters round shot across the distance. It struck the front edge of Richter's helmet, deflecting downwards. It tore through the sniper's right eye. Hauptfreiter Karl Richter was dead. The duel was over. The silence returned. Mikhail Volkov extracted himself, collected his rifle, and vanished back into the taiga. The Soviet attack later that day found the machine gun nest mysteriously silent. For his actions, Senior Sergeant Mikhail Ilyich Volkov was awarded the title of Hero of the Soviet Union. His final confirmed tally remains officially listed at 54. The story of the sniper who became the snow is a testament to the individual will that shaped the colossal struggle of the Eastern Front. It was a war of millions, but often decided by the courage, skill, and survival instinct of a single soldier. Mikhail Volkov survived the war, a hunter once more, forever carrying the memory of the shot that changed everything. This was just one of countless untold stories from the Second World War. Subscribe to After the Last Shot as we continue to bring these forgotten chapters of history back to life.